This is the Immigration Link. We are live on a rainy Monday. I hope everybody had a nice weekend. I'd rather have it rain on a Monday than on the weekends when hopefully most of the listeners out there were off and enjoyed themselves on the beautiful weekend. But we're back on Monday. There was a big immigration rally. A lot of things happening on Sunday. There was a big immigration rally in Washington, D.C., which we blogged a little bit about. I was not there. I was at my son's lacrosse game. But I did follow it on Twitter and Facebook and in the news. And apparently over 100,000 people came to rally in support for immigration reform, which was a very big turnout on a day when health care passed, that they're going to insure 32 million people who otherwise were unable or could not afford to get health insurance. So that's a good thing that people who are on the outs are now going to be on the ins as far as health care is concerned. The bad part as far as immigration is concerned now, they say there's going to be about 20 million or so people who are going to be ineligible for health care, and a great majority of those 20 million people who live in America will be illegal aliens who will still not be able to get health care, meaning that as great a victory as it is for healthcare, it's really not a full victory until every person who lives here in America gets to live in peace and get their share of the American dream, which is as long as you're not committing crimes and you're not bothering other people and you're helping contribute to society, why shouldn't society help you back like it helps everybody else? That's really what it comes down to as far as immigration is concerned. You have people living here who are contributing to society, who are working, who are hard workers, and they're hard workers next to me and you. Very possible. And in return, all they ask for is that they be treated fairly, which is that, there's minimum wage. They should get paid a minimum wage. There's health insurance benefits that now everybody should get. Why shouldn't they be able to get it? There's the ability for people to live in happiness, because you can't live in happiness with the fear of getting deported tomorrow. All right, that adds stress onto your life. The reality is it actually kills people. The stress and the anxiety that people go through in living in fear that one day everything that they have worked hard for will be pulled out from under them simply because they were born on the wrong side of the fence. I remember years and years and years ago, when I was in high school, I don't even know if I shared this with anybody. I was in high school. I went to the Soviet Union before communism fell, and I was there. I was part of a high school trip. That was the first trip ever, high school students ever, to go to the Soviet Union. This is before Chernobyl blew up back in, I was probably 1984, and we met with some refugees. So wow, I was doing immigration all the way back from high school. And we met with some refugees, and we were talking to them, and I'll never forget this. This always stayed in the back of my mind. I remember I met with an older man once, and he said to me, "Remember this, son." He said, "The only difference between me and you is that I was born in the wrong place." And I'll never forget that. And that's really what it comes down to. Here's a guy who's trying to get out of the Soviet Union before communism fell. This is just when Gorbachev was coming up, and he was an older man, and he spoke pretty well English, and that's all he said to me. I'll never forget that. And I don't even know if I've ever shared that. I may have shared that when I first came on the radio 12 years ago, but I think it's apropos today, especially when there's a great success in trying to ensure many Americans who don't have medical insurance. Why shouldn't everybody have basic medical insurance? Why shouldn't everybody have the right to live? Okay, when you say have the right to live freely, what about the right to live, period? Okay, because if you can't get medical insurance, you're going to die. So you're not living anymore. But what about the right to live freely for the people who are here, living here illegally? Some people say they broke the law. What law did they break? They broke a law that says that you have to keep your visa valid. Or they broke a law that says you can't walk across the border from Mexico. Or they broke a law that says they came here as a visitor and decided not to leave. Or they broke a law that they came here as a student visa and they weren't able to afford their way through school anymore, so they had to leave. Those are not crimes. Those are random laws that were made up as far as immigration is concerned. It's civil fines. It's civil penalties. It's not criminal convictions. And look at balance what people have done here. Okay, yeah, they may have overstayed on their visitor's visa. Law is all about balancing. The good and the bad. Yeah, they overstayed on the visitor's visa, but look, they have family here. They have a job here. They're working. They're contributing to society. They're doing jobs Americans don't want to do. They are providing the backbone of the workforce of America right now, yet you don't give them the right to health care. You don't give them the right to live in freedom. You don't get them the right to live, period, because God forbid you get sick, they're going to die. So hopefully, President Obama, Congress, Senator Schumer, who is heading up the immigration reform along with Senator Graham in South Carolina, hopefully they can, now that health care is resolved, now that they had this 100,000 person march on Washington, now that they've heard hopefully many voices from people who have said what is happening in America is unfair. What is happening in America is we have two-class society, not unlike what happened in the 1960s when blacks were second-class citizens until the Civil Rights Movement. It's the same thing. We have two classes, but now instead of it's black versus white, it's you were born here versus not born here. Okay? So that's how they're differentiating the groups, but it's the same thing. You have two classes of societies. So let's hope that we can come up with a plan that can satisfy both people who, because the reason why, to take a step back, the reason why you can't seem to get immigration together is there's too many competing interests. There's people who are humanitarians who want to help people. There's business leaders who say we need cheap labor to come and work here. There are bigots who say we only want to see people who look like us and talk like us and have our culture, whatever that culture may be. There are people who say, well, I don't think that they should become U.S. citizens. Nobody's saying that illegal aliens should become U.S. citizens. Okay, all we're saying is that they should become legal. There's a big difference between being legal and becoming a U.S. citizen. Okay, maybe down the line they could work their way into becoming a U.S. citizen. Okay, but I think the most important thing is to make people legal, get them out from under the shadows, let them pay taxes. Because 99% of my clients who come in who are illegal, they want to pay taxes and can't. How stupid is that? You want people, we have running record deficits, yet nobody, you can't collect the tax dollar from them because you won't give them a Social Security card. So hopefully we'll get something going with immigration. I read an article. Maybe I don't think it's going to be before the election. I just think politically they can't do immigration before the election. But Obama says he wants to do something. We'll see what happens. Now, if something does or does not happen, that doesn't mean that I want people out there just sitting on their hands doing nothing, waiting for what is in essence right now pie in the sky. That something may happen down the line, that immigration laws may change. If you have an opportunity right now to straighten yourself out, now should be the first day of the rest of your life. If you're in a committed relationship with somebody and that person's a resident or a citizen, now should be the first day of your life. Say, let's get married. It's a committed, real, bona fide relationship. Let me get my green card. Even if it's a green card holder, we can make that person a citizen in a few months. You have a job that can sponsor you. Get sponsored in that job. Get in the system.